CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
A fugitive in a Victoria fraud has been arrested in northern Manitoba. Richard William Patterson is accused of bilking a 90-year-old man out of several $100,000. Police found him Monday, 1,000 kilometers away from Winnipeg in Norway House, Manitoba. Police say the fraudster cashed in on a renovation project that he never actually started in a Victoria neighborhood last September. Police say he was charged but tried fleeing the province to avoid his trial.
We put out a Canada-wide warrant, and then it was early in January here, 2012, when we got some information that he was in Manitoba. So we were liaising then with the Winnipeg Police Service and gave them our information. And remarkably, within 5 days, the Manitoba Integrated Warrant Apprehension Unit had that information. So they liaised with the RCMP there, and he was quickly arrested.
Patterson was escorted back to Vancouver Island by BC Sheriffs, the fugitive escort team. Patterson's now facing a charge of breaching a court order in addition to the original count of fraud. More than 50 people on Vancouver Island suddenly find themselves out of work tonight after the company that publishes the Canpages directory closed its doors for good. The Canpages office in central Saanich are closed. Customers are being referred to the head office of Yellow Pages in Montreal. Yesterday, Yellow Pages bought the Vancouver-based Canpages in a $225 million deal. About 50 workers on the island were given news of the closure and escorted out of the central Saanich office without notice this morning. Canpages employed about 700 people across BC and Alberta. More now on the story we first brought you last night about the Cedar Hill Golf Course. They held a public meeting last night to discuss the future of the greens that are in the red. Hundreds of people showed up at the meeting, most of them protesting the closure of the Cedar Hill Golf Course restaurant. It was announced earlier this month that service at the restaurant would be reduced to address a food services deficit of more than $500,000. The municipal golf course in Saanich had a projected loss of more than $800,000 this year. And the people who showed up at the meeting last night were passionate about their local links.
Listening to all the comments, I think what impressed me most is the passion that people were showing for both the restaurant operation and the golf operation, and so that's obviously something that we have to take back and take into consideration.
I was really impressed with how many people showed up and how many people from different organizations. In the past, we've done our lobbying efforts, and it's been all golfers, and I am really thrilled that there were so many neighbors, there were so many restaurant patrons, and Saanich taxpayers that are concerned about the deficit.
The public feedback, and there was lots of it, and the information gathered at the meeting last night will be presented to Saanich Council at its next meeting. Students at Camosun College are not ranting about the workload, but the debt load they're carrying right now.
This student has $60,000 worth of debt and is dropping out this semester because she cannot afford to finish her education.
Post-secondary students were protesting the cost of their tuition on the steps of the legislature this morning. The demonstrators are demanding that tuition fees be frozen or reduced. Students say the government needs to take action to make education, higher education, more affordable.
Well, in BC, what we really need are three things, and we need them all to support our students, and that is a reduction in tuition fees, the reestablishment of our provincial grants program, which was cut in 2005, and the complete elimination of student loans.
Tomorrow, students at Vancouver Island University will hold an Education is a Right campaign on campus. That's all part of the Canadian Federation of Students' Day of Action. The campaign urges the provincial and federal governments to step in and to help lower the cost of post-secondary education in British Columbia. A smooth-talking, quick-fingered con artist is working his way up and down Vancouver Island, and RCMP say his latest target is another liquor store, this time in Duncan. Duncan North Cowich and RCMP hope you can identify this guy, a man police say is responsible for ripping off liquor stores up and down the island. Officers say the fraudster uses the same MO, walks into a liquor store, uses a large bill to purchase a small item. Police say the con artist uses some sleight of hand and verbal wordplay, and then ends up not just with the item, but the change and the original bill. The man's in his 50s. He has a tattoo of lips on the right side of his neck. He wears a black 80s-style leather jacket and a black fedora with a white band. Sometimes he's wearing glasses. Police say he's hit Nanaimo and Victoria, and most recently, a liquor store in Duncan. A patient at Nanaimo Regional General Hospital is racking up a hefty fee in the hundreds of thousands of dollars after not being able to find a home that is suitable for her needs. The woman with a brain injury has spent about 500 days at the facility and has run up a bill of more than $700,000 in medical fees. NRGH says it costs about $1,500 a day for the acute care bed that the woman is using. The woman's doctor says the process has been extremely frustrating.
She's got special needs that require her to be in a secure setting with supervision. We're having difficulty getting her placed. We've tried very hard to have her placed in the proper facility, in the community if we can. We've gone to many meetings, and unfortunately, the people who manage these homes for this type of patient don't seem to be able to come up with the appropriate facility.
When the woman was originally admitted, she was homeless. The hospital says she had run away from a senior's full care facility. Her doctor says once an appropriate secure facility opens up, she can be discharged immediately.
She pleads with me every time I see her to get her out of there. I mean, it's very sad. And to me, it's a bit inhumane. My patient isn't the only one in there who's been there a long time. And, you know, I was in the emergency room this morning, and we have gurneys along the hallways waiting for patients to be admitted to the hospital. And you know, it's a dilemma. It's a big problem.
The average patient stay at NRGH is about 10 days. VHI is meeting to discuss this case tomorrow. Transport Canada is now investigating the sinking of a barge in the Chemainus Marina. It was one of 5 barges brought into the Chemainus Harbour for a marina project a few years ago. The barges were tethered together, but one of them sank over the weekend. The mayor says it was not full of any contaminants and it should not cause a hazard for boats.
So environmentally, we don't, at this point at least, we're not aware of any major problem. But certainly, and if the depth of water is adequate, they won't be a problem for boats, but that will be for the Department of Transport and Coast Guard to decide. When we found out about it, we contacted the federal government because they have jurisdiction through the Ministry of Transport and the Coast Guard, and the issue is in their hands now. But
the Chemainus Quay and Marina Complex Limited owns the barges. So far, the 4 that are still afloat are staying that way. And another boat out of water. The issue of illegal dumping in the regional district of Nanaimo has come to the surface again this week after a boat was found in the woods dumped near Melrose Road. The regional district hopes you know who owns or used to own the vessel, called the Mary Beth.
Well, a complaint came in yesterday, and it's a bit of an anomaly to have something this size just dumped off a logging road. So we're looking to perhaps refresh some people's minds, and hopefully they will recall seeing this boat, and we'll be able to determine who put it there. It's not a well-traveled area, so there's none of those concerns, but it just should not be there, and garbage will attract other garbage, so we need to get it dealt with.
The Regional District of Nanaimo says the boat has not been reported stolen. The registration number on it is not traceable. If you know who this boat belongs to, you're asked to call the Regional District. A group of Nanaimo elementary students is getting the chance to explore music thanks to a donation of a new set of drums.
I like how there's so much rhythm. You have to have a lot of rhythm to play the drum. It's fun. You can show what you're feeling with the music that you play. You need to take a lot of heart and soul to do it.
This class at Chase River Elementary is playing 22 new drums and 4 sets of bells, bought after the Island Radio Company donated $2,000 to the Nanaimo Ladysmith Schools Foundation. The school's music teacher says it's helping her students learn better.
It keeps all of my kinesthetic learners busy and involved. They can be creative. They learn about improvisation, jazz, etiquette, you name it. It's just brought everybody into the fold.
You can find out more about the Nanaimo Ladysmith Schools Foundation, how it supports students pursuing music, and sport, dance, and art by visiting the foundation on their website at nlsf.ca.